Well, welcome back to another weeknight cooking video, and tonight I'm going to be making some pork chops. And these are bone-in pork chops, and I've got 3 of them here tonight. They're all kind of similar. The one on the right's looks a little different, but they've got, as you can see, they've got bones. There's a little spine area, and then there's a rib attached on most of these. This one looks a little bit different. Still got the little short rib there. It must be from just slightly different part of the animal. As you can see, these have some pretty large segments of fat on the outer edges on a couple of these, and I'm going to go ahead and take a kitchen shears and trim off some of those larger pieces of fat. And the reasoning for that is that on the grill, that fat will render and drip onto the grill, and that'll just cause a lot of flare-ups on the grill, and we'll end up with charred pork chops rather than grilled pork chops. So I'm just going to get rid of the biggest chunks of the fat there. But these little intramuscular threads of fat that are in the meat, those are good. I want to leave those. Those are going to provide a lot of flavor. I'm not going to do anything with those. As you can see, these pork chops are about the thickness of my hand, about an inch and a half thick, not terribly thick, and they'll cook pretty quickly on the grill. Now I'm going to season these with some just general purpose seasoned salt. That's going to be the only seasoning I'm going to put on there, and I'm going to put lots of it on there. I'm going to put a healthy amount of seasoning here on the outside of the meat on both sides. Go ahead and flip them over and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and set those aside and get started on the vegetables. First thing I'm going to do with the vegetables is get the oven turned on, get that preheating at 400 degrees. And here I have some grocery store sweet potatoes, otherwise known as yams. I like to get the ones that are kind of torpedo shaped. They're a little bit easier to peel than the ones that are kind of really round. They're more torpedo shaped, the easier they are to peel. At least that's what I've found. But yeah, I'm just going to get rid of all the skins on these and any blemish spots that I can find. And just a regular vegetable peeler works good for this. You could use a knife, but I find that a vegetable peeler works just fine. And this is going to be roasted sweet potatoes we're making here tonight. If you've never had roasted sweet potatoes, you should definitely give it a try. If the only sweet potatoes you've had is the super ridiculously sweet mashed thing with marshmallows on top, you haven't had good sweet potatoes. I like sweet potatoes, and I don't like that dish at all. But roasted sweet potatoes have a very savory flavor. They get kind of caramelized, almost like, and they're pretty much just as good as roasted white potatoes, in my opinion. And after I get the skins off of those, I just like to give them a little rinse, just get any dirt off. I'm going to go ahead and cut these up. I'm going to cut them lengthwise first, and the goal here is to get them into about 1-inch cubes. Obviously, they're kind of an odd shape, so you're not going to have complete uniformity in your pieces, which is totally fine. There's going to be some smaller pieces and some larger pieces, and they're all going to be delicious. But what I'm shooting for primarily is just about 1 inch. Put those cubed up sweet potatoes in a bowl, and now I'm going to add some canola oil. I like to add a good amount of canola oil. If they're too dry, they will get kind of dried out in the oven. So you got to make sure there's just a good coating. I don't measure this obviously here, but I'm guessing it's a couple of tablespoons probably. Just going to keep the seasoning real simple with these tonight. First thing is salt. We're going to also add some pepper, and the third seasoning is just going to be some onion powder. That just gives them a real good flavor. Get that onion powder on there. Now let's give these a toss to get the oil and the salt and pepper and onion powder all mixed thoroughly. All the pieces will get mixed. You can use a spoon if you want, stir it around, or use your hands. I like to kind of toss it around like that. As you can see, the sweet potatoes are coated nicely with the seasoning and the oil. And now I'm going to get out a sheet pan. Go ahead and line that with some parchment paper. If you have foil, go ahead and use that, but I highly recommend parchment paper. You'll never get any sticking, and it's just so much easier to work with than tin foil. Pretty much the only thing you can't do with parchment paper is if you're going to be running the broiler, it'll burn. But otherwise, it works fantastic. I wish I had discovered parchment paper long ago. I used foil for quite a few years before I figured this out. Get those spread out on the sheet pan, and looks like the oven is ready, so we'll go ahead and get those popped in the oven. And I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes, and then in 20 minutes I'll come back and give those a turn and see how they're doing. And now it's time to go get the grill started up, and I live in Iowa, and it's November, and that means the sun goes down at 5:30 here. So it's getting dark out already, And when I grill in the dark, one thing that's pretty helpful is this little headlight. Just really helps me see what I'm doing. It's been 20 minutes, and let's go ahead and get those sweet potatoes out and give them a check. Oh yeah, those are looking nice. And I just use a spatula and just kind of scoop and flip, scoop and flip. It's a little too tedious to grab each one and flip it over. So some get a little more cooked than others on the browning on the pan, but I'm okay with that. And back in the oven they go. I'm going to set the timer once again, this time for just 10 minutes. That'll be a total of 30 minutes cooking time for the sweet potatoes. And while the grill's warming up, I'm going to go ahead and get my meat thermometer ready. This is a handy little device if you have one. It really helps you just really get that meat cooked perfectly. Really takes the guesswork out of it. And these days the right temperature for pork is 145, so that's what I'm setting it for. And the grill's showing me about 600 degrees here, so it's good and preheated. I'm going to go ahead and get those grates scraped off, get all that burnt stuff off from the previous grill session. And then I'm going to turn the burners down from high. I'm going to turn all three of them down to medium, and that's the temperature we're going to cook these pork chops at, medium. So on the grill with the pork chops, I'm going to get those spread out just evenly right in the middle of the grill. And I'm going to leave those cook on that medium heat with the lid closed for about 5 minutes. That's about how long it's going to take to get a good sear on that first side. After 5 minutes, I'm going to give them a flip. And they're looking pretty good. Looks like didn't have a lot of flare-ups. A little bit of char here and there, just some stripes. But yeah, those are looking pretty good to me. Really packing on some of that flame-broiled flavor there. I'm going to go ahead and stick the meat thermometer in there now, and so I can measure that. And like I showed you before, I set it to 145. So I'll put that in and go ahead and close the lid. And it's only been probably another 5 minutes, and these 1-inch thick pork chops are ready to come off the grill. I find that these pork chops that have some good marbling in them tend to do a little bit better if you accidentally overcook them. They tend to do a little bit better because they've got that fat that's kind of basting the meat while it's cooking. But if you're cooking some of those like 2-inch thick loin chops, there's very little room for forgiveness on those. Those dry out really fast. But looks like I got to these right at the perfect time, right when they turned into 145. I'm going to bring those in, put them on the table, and the first thing I'm going to do is throw a piece of tin foil over the top of those just to retain some of that heat. And I want to let that meat rest for just, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, I suppose. So while those pork chops are resting, I'm going to get the slaw out of the fridge. This is homemade carrot and cabbage slaw. If you want to see exactly how I make this, I do have a video on that. You might be surprised. There are a few details in making slaw that maybe you never thought about. But yeah, in the bowl goes some slaw, nice big heap of slaw. And this is my homemade mustard vinaigrette dressing as well. I haven't made a video on that yet, but I probably will sometime in the future. Possibly by the time you're watching this, it's already up. Now it's time to get the sweet potatoes out of the oven. It's been a full 30 minutes on those, and those are just looking real nice. They kind of dried out around the outside, and the inside is just a very tender, soft. And I don't know, if you've never had savory roasted sweet potatoes, I highly recommend it. This is one of my favorite vegetables to have as a side dish. It really is. And off comes the foil on the pork chops. As you can see, they're looking pretty nice. They're glistening. They're juicy. That platter is filling up with all sorts of good meat juices. That'll be great to drizzle on your plate. Go ahead and plate it up. I'll take the funny looking pork chop for myself and put some sweet potatoes on the plate. I think I need a little bit more than that there, Tom. There you go. There you go. There we have it, folks. Grilled pork chops, roasted sweet potatoes, and the homemade slaw with the mustard vinaigrette dressing. This is an excellent meal, easy for a weeknight, and delicious. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you found that useful. See you on the next one.